wrestling diehards only, this is the Idaho Mat Chat Prepcast on IdahoSports.com.
That's right. Welcome in. It is time for the Idaho Mat Chat Prepcast, coming to you live on the IdahoSports.com YouTube channel, Facebook page, X account, Instagram account, and the IdahoSports.com or the Idaho Wrestling News Facebook page as well. So welcome in. Thanks for joining us. My name is Brandon Baney. The Idaho Mat Chat Prepcast on IdahoSports.com, of course, is brought to you by our friends at Green Solutions Cleaning and Restoration. They have been a sponsor now for 3 seasons of not just the Idaho Mat Chat Prepcast, but all of our wrestling content on IdahoSports.com. Green Solutions, 2 brothers born in Rexburg, blessed to find a way to work with one another. Their dad put them on the mats at 5 years old, and through their childhood, they had a lot of success in both high school and college with wrestling. And through wrestling, they learned that having success not only takes hard work, but putting in more time than your opponents. And in their business, they put in the time and energy to make them great at what they do. So they've got the edge, and they can help their customers have a great experience because they are the premium carpet cleaning company in the area. Their main focus over the last 3 years has been in water damage, emergencies, and disasters because, well, nobody wants to wake up to a foot of water in the basement. That being said, they've learned how to de-escalate the situation and help the customer through the difficult time. They say, we love East Idaho and are grateful for this area and our loyal customers. That's Green Solutions Cleaning and Restoration in Rexburg. All right. My name is Brandon Maney. This is the part of the show where I'd say joining us live from the Treasure Valley is Al Fontes, but Al, Mr. Big Shot, had better things to do tonight. So joining us from East Idaho, of course, steady, dependable as always, it's Brian Zollinger. What's going on, Brian?
Hey, Brandon. Good to be here. What's going on, diehards? And I'm not as flashy as Al, but I'm glad I'm here.
Yeah, what are we going to do with all the extra? Al hogs the mic so much on the show, Brian. We're going to have ample time to talk.
Right? All the numbers we won't have either. I mean, the guy's like a computer throwing out numbers. So we'll make do. We'll make do. We're going to need a lot of audience participation tonight.
That's right. Brian, we're throwing it back really old school. The very first kind of wrestling show we did on IdahoSports.com when I first came on board, it was just you and me. Yep. It was right before state. We were kind of breaking down all the brackets, all the matchups. It was a lot of fun. It was very crude in terms of like production and it's a well-oiled machine now. Those were the early days, but we're kind of throwing it back old school tonight. I like it.
Absolutely. Me too. Those were the good old days, right? And started it all. So
that's right. Well, thanks to everybody that's joining us live tonight as well. I know some of the district tournaments have already started. We'll talk about that in a second. One team in particular already out to a really large lead at their district tournament. Some of our personalities that are normally on the show are at seeding meetings tonight for their respective district tournaments. In fact, Brian, that's where you were at earlier tonight.
It was. We had the district. What district are we? 6 5A seeding meeting tonight. Just got done minutes ago. And yeah, it's exciting to see all these district tournaments kicked off. I mean, I think we had 2 6A, District 3, District 5 is the brackets are up, or 5A District 3, the brackets are up. Girls 6A District is through the semis today as well. So, we'll get into some of that, but it's exciting. Between today and tomorrow, a lot of them are going to be done.
You hear stories all the time about how heated those seeding meetings get. What's more intense, the seeding meetings for districts or state?
State by far. At least our district. I mean, our district, it's like people are joking. Everyone's good friends. I mean, I've got my IF hat on today. If anybody noticed, we lost a duel. It's the annual bet. I hate to wear orange, but here it is. So, we have a good time at our district seeding meetings. I've been to state seeding meetings. I think the COVID year was, we were 5 hours in that meeting that year. So, but they've got it down to a science. They use a point system, a track point system now, which is different than most of the districts. And so it takes a lot of the argument out of the case and it's ready to go. So, but it's a big family. I mean, it's not as bad as it was, back in the 90s.
You could say that about a lot of things.
Yeah.
Not as bad as it was in the 90s.
For sure.
Yeah.
We're friends.
You're right. Well, here's Bruce Schultz in the chat tonight. How long has it been now? 4 years? Talking about the Mat Chat Prepcast. Yes, this is season 4, believe it or not. So these guys that are seniors now were freshmen when we first started this thing, which kind of makes you feel old a little bit. Everybody, for sure. So Bruce and all of the other fans that are hanging out in the chat tonight that aren't at a district tournament competition or at a district seating meeting, we want to hear from you tonight in the chat. So let us know where you're watching from. Let us know who you're repping. You want to give your favorite team, athlete, coach a shout out, or if you've got a question for either Brian or I, throw it in the chat. We'll throw it up on the screen. We didn't do a show last week because of let's talk about that other winter sport, basketball. We had some girls basketball district tournament broadcasts that took me away from hosting, and we just couldn't find a good night that worked for everybody because there were a lot of duels last week on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. So we decided we'll come back bigger, stronger, catch everybody up on what's happened over the last 2 weeks, and then look ahead, of course, to districts. That's all happening this week. So we want to hear from you, the fans in the chat. And if you're hanging out tonight as well, if you could hit that like button on Facebook, subscribe on YouTube, share this when it's all said and done. That'll help everybody who wasn't here live find this a little easier on replay. So again, another comment from Bruce here talking about how those 90s district seating meetings were knock them down, drag them out. Bruce says, amen to that, Brian. So,
he knows.
Yeah, no doubt about it. So, yeah, he says those seating meetings in the 90s were brutal. So, for sure. Hey, here's a shout out from June Ashland. Shout out to my grandsons, Damian and Matthew Hamilton, the Hamilton boys from Post Falls High. Yeah, we're going to talk 6A wrestling here in just a second. Brian, we always start the show off with the best thing that we saw from the past week of competition. This time it'll be the past 2 weeks of competition. Brian, what was the best thing you saw from the last 2 weeks of action?
Yeah, I mean, there wasn't a lot going on this week. I think we had the Lake City girls tournament, not a lot of tournaments this weekend. So I'm going to go back to the week we missed the show last week. I was at the Kimberly girls dual tournament, technically the first girls state dual tournament, the unofficial. And that was a lot of fun just to see, some really good teams there. I love the dual team tournament format. I'm glad that, I think some of the classifications had really good dual team tournaments. 5A didn't do so great with that, putting theirs together this year. There's only 3 or 4 schools, but I love that everyone's trying it. And the girls it was just a lot of fun. Kimberly did a great job hosting it. I think there were probably 12 teams, 13 teams maybe there. 15 teams. Well, no, 14 teams. And Eagle ended up winning it over Thunder Ridge. And those last duels were just fire. They were, came down to the last couple matches. Meridian beat Minico for 3rd and 4th. Skyline beat Twin for 5th and 6th. A lot of fun. It's just good to see the growth of the sport. Girls, some full dual teams, and that was just a spectacular weekend.
Yeah, really a lot of fun for sure. The best thing that I saw from the past week of competition, Bruce has been there, done that. So for sure. The best thing I saw is I put the call out there to the wrestling diehards around Idaho. I said, hey, we want to hear about all of these great young men and women that are crossing 100 career wins or 150 career wins. And I'm not joking, like 6 or 7 emails. And so I've got a whole collage of photos that we'll share a little bit later on in the show tonight from all corners of the state as well, which is really cool. So I love it because really, Brian, we've talked about this a lot in terms of, media coverage is somewhat lacking when it comes to wrestling in Idaho. That's why we do this show. We want to have an outlet for wrestling fans statewide. Track wrestling flow, it can be a little tricky to navigate sometimes. And so we rely on these, we rely on the diehards to give us the good information. We're going to ask them for, information and things like that tonight as well. But I mean, without the diehards, this wrestling community doesn't exist.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I love the people that tune in, that give us feedback all week long, send these in. It's great to see. Like I said, it's one big family, so it's great to get together once a week and discuss things. And I really, as a fan, a coach, I appreciate what IdahoSports.com has done, giving wrestling a platform. The rankings every week, the last version will come out actually probably tomorrow, right, for the last version of the rankings for the season. So it's been really great to have Idaho Sports give wrestling some coverage. And I know the diehards out there are really thankful. It's a good thing. An Al's article, all on IdahoSports.com. It's been great.
Yes, and we can say this because Al's not here, but what he does to promote the sport of wrestling in Idaho, but also nationally, Al's kind of that go-between to the he knows a lot of big, powerful people nationally. Al does. His Rolodex is pretty impressive. So here's Brock Steele in the chat. Go Idaho! Yes, this is why we do it. Our great Idaho wrestlers for sure.
Brock still has got a kid going in Oregon. Is it Valley? I can't remember the high school, but I saw he's a freshman at the and we'll get into the Weezer tournament. But he had Ian Avalos, who's just an absolute beast in the state of Idaho in the finals. I think Avalos is a junior. We talk about him all the time. And Brock Steele's kid, Lincoln Steele, he took that tournament as a freshman. So really impressive. They're Oregon, but there's Idaho ties there. They do a lot in Idaho. Brock tunes in every week. So really impressive showing by Lincoln Steele at the Weezer tournament that we'll get into, I'm sure.
Yeah, let's start there because that was kind of the big competition from 2 weeks ago, the 37th annual Weezer Invite, Brian. This was really a who's who of really good 4A schools. There were some good 6A, 5A teams that came over and competed. Madison ends up winning the team title, 225 points. They had 3 first-place finishers, 2 seconds, 2 thirds. So, I mean, a quarter of the lineup finishing top 3 is pretty good. Homedale took second, Fruitland third, Snake River fourth, Buell fifth. So you got Madison at the top, and then kind of this run of 4A teams. Homedale, Fruitland, Snake River, Buell. Could that be how the 4A state tournament actually shakes out?
Yeah, we're going to find out soon, and it likely could. I mean, and then, on the other hand, in Ryrie, or Chalice, you had Ryrie win that tournament mixed with some good 5A schools. So, throw Ryrie in there. Well, I guess Ryrie's 2A, so different division. But, yeah, I think it very well could be. Looks like it was a great tournament, with Madison. On other news, you had the Hanson brothers from Madison. Breaking news last week, I think Friday when I talked to Madison's coach, the transfers of the Hanson brothers was approved, and James Hanson won at 57 there. And I think the younger brother was in the finals. I think he ended up losing his finals match. He did at 113, but you had both Hanson brothers. So, opinions differ, but I say let the kids always compete. The transfers, I like to go what's best for the kids. So I was excited to hear that news on the Hanson brothers, and that's going to help Madison a lot. And they're going to need it based on what Meridian's doing today over at their tournament.
Yeah. So James Hanson and Jason Hanson competing for Madison there got the okay and the clear, which was great news for sure. So yeah, let's talk about that real quick. Okay. Because 6A District 3 has already started their district tournament, Brian, and already 1 day in, it's pretty much over.
Yeah. When I pulled that up before we got on, we were talking, I pulled that team score up and I saw Meridian was 755.5 points after the first day. I mean, they're through the semifinals. So I was looking through just some of the results quick, and it looks like Meridian has 2 kids in the top 6. I think that district takes 9. They've got 2 kids locked into the top 6 in 10 of the 15 weights. And in the other 5 weights, they could still take 2 because it's 9, and we just don't know who's going to be the top 9 yet because they'll wrestle a true 9th. So that is Caldwell sitting in second, Mountain View. And those team scores could change at least 2, 3, 4, or 5 with Caldwell, Mountain View, CUNA, and Eagle. But and even Timberline, Centennial, though it's close from 2nd through 7th place. I mean, we're talking, 70 points separating all from 2nd to 7th. But then Meridian has more than the top 3 teams together. It's going to be tough for Post Falls and Madison to compete with that. Well, we'll see what happens at their district tournaments, but that's crazy if Meridian's taken literally 2 per weight to state.
I mean, yeah. How do you, and we talked about District 3, they get so many bids because there's, 12, 13, 14 teams, whatever it is in there. So, it's going to be crazy for sure.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, no doubt.
Yep. Here's Michael Hansen in the chat. Jackson Hansen. Have I been saying his name wrong all year? Jason. Why did I think Jason Hansen?
It's that XSON, the XON, SON, but yeah.
I'm sorry. Boy, I've been getting that wrong all season. I gotta do better at that. Sorry. Okay. So yeah, that's what's going on 6A. Mountain View or Meridian looking very strong. Once again, big shocker there. So did you have any other big takeaways from that 37th annual Weezer Invite in terms of individual results or anything else that stood out to you, Brian?
Yeah, I mean, Buell, they had a strong showing as well. Raiden Pugsley with the tech fall in the finals at 150. I mean, it's always impressive when you see, there was a couple techs. The Vail kid at 165 teched McKenzie from Fruitland, which is, that's no simple feat. McKenzie's solid. Just the amount of tech falls in the finals there, I thought was really surprising. If you go through the brackets, I think 7 of the last 15 were either falls or tech falls, maybe even more than that. Really, you go back all the way to 126. After 126, every single match was a fall or tech fall. Actually, only 2 weights in the final matches didn't end up like that. And it was some good competition. So that was really, I've never seen a finals like that where you get bonus points in the finals match in all but 2 weights. But some really good matches. Good to see Brandon Edstrom back on the mat at 120. He was injured for quite a while, first period pin there. But Pugsley's match I thought was really impressive at 50, 150. Obviously he's got 1 loss on the season, legit wrestler. Like I mentioned, the freshman at 144 beating Avalos, Ace Ingram, some really good kids in that 144 weight that the freshman from Vail High School in Oregon took out there.
Yeah. Fabi Pierce continuing to put together a really nice season for Buell as well. Got the tech fall at 175, like you noted. So, that is kind of interesting as we're getting towards the end of the line here. A lot of bonus points, tech falls, very interesting there at the Weiser Invite. So, okay. Also 2 weeks ago, you mentioned it, Brian. We had the Mario Durazio invite in Chalice, which again, I would take my team up there just for the scenery. It's a beautiful place. Good team bonding can be had on a long bus ride, right?
Absolutely. And I still think I haven't been out there for about 2 years, but I used to go out and ref there sometimes, and they would have a lot of the teams still just sleep in the gym. And I still believe they do that because there's not a lot of hotels out there. And so I think they do that still some. So it's a fun little tournament. But they had some really good teams out there. I noticed for the girls tournament that they held Friday, they held a girls only tournament Friday up there. And I noticed a lot of the girls teams wrestled that and then went to the Weiser Invitational the next day. So they got 2 tournaments in one weekend. But the boys tournament up there, it looks like I said earlier, Ryrie won that, Twin Falls, Emmett, West J, and Chalice. But there was a good mix of, like Emmett's there, Twin Falls there, some good 5A schools, Sugar Salem, good mix of teams. It looks like it was a great tournament.
Yeah, really, really fun time for sure. And Ryrie getting to the top with, I think, just 1 first place finisher too, which was pretty impressive. Well, maybe there was 2, but either way, strength in numbers for Ryrie.
Yeah.
Team title there, 177.5 points. So that was great to see also. So,
yeah.
Then the big competition that took place up in North Idaho 2 weeks ago was the Conrad Garner, all the way up in Bonners Ferry. And again, if you're driving to Bonners Ferry and you've hit Canada, you've gone too far, but it's really not that far. And the team scores ended up going to Post Falls. No surprise there, 200.5 points. Lake City, finished second at 180. I feel like Lake City kind of gets overshadowed a little bit because you've got Post Falls and you've got Coeur d'Alene, these 2 absolute giants. We've talked about it in some of the other, over in East Idaho, American Falls and Snake River. Well, Marsh Valley is still pretty good too, but somebody's got to take third in a really loaded district, and that's kind of where Lake City is at. Yeah.
And that could be an issue at state. 3 really good teams in that conference. Are they going to beat each other up? And Post Falls, Coeur d'Alene, Lake City. It's going to be tough because they might beat each other up. And then we already spoke about what Meridian's bringing to state because, it looks like Post Falls, Madison, Meridian are 3 of the top 5 there, and it's going to be hard for them to keep pace because Lake City, they've got some hammers there. A lot of several kids in the finals. Probably I didn't go through it, but it looks like at least 8-10 kids from Lake City that made the finals. I don't think they had that many champions, but
yeah, and you just talk about stealing bids from one another. It just makes Meridian stand out that much more. When you're talking about the overall team race for sure. So
yeah, and to beat Lakeland, that it kind of surprises me because Lakeland, that's a top 2-3 team in 5A. They look solid. It looks like Lakeland had most of their kids. They might have been missing a couple, but really impressive by Lake City. And Timberlake was close too. It looks like 4 teams there had really good showings.
Yeah. Really good top 4. They were all kind of really bunched together tightly. So really fun competition there at the Conrad Garner Invite in Bonners Ferry. And again, that was 2 weeks ago. So despite not having the show last week, Brian, we didn't miss much in terms of big tournaments and competitions because last week then it was just a lot of duels, right? Teams were just kind of finishing off the regular season slate with, is it rivalry week? It did seem like a lot of rivals were paired up against one another, but it was a fun week of duels regardless.
Yeah, it was. I definitely know there was a few rivals. I got stuck wearing the orange hat from our rivalry here. It pains me, but there were a lot of duels, and I mean that's part of the reason we had a hard time scheduling last night. A lot of last minute duels. There were duels Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday last week. Well, Friday too. Sugar Salem had a quad with Fort Madison and 4 teams on Friday, so there were literally duels all 4 nights last week.
Yeah, so a really busy calendar of events here, and we'll see how much it changes the dichotomy of the rankings. I know last week there were some wild swings in the team rankings and also some of the individual rankings as well, based on some of those results. Yep.
And I would assume it's going to be the same, this week, because there were, just with those duels, there were some crazy upsets in several of the duels that could really shake things up.
Yeah. So should be a lot of fun to see how everybody does starting in the district tournaments. Like you said, a couple of the district tournaments starting up already this week. A lot of them are going to get going tomorrow, Thursday. A few will spill into the weekend, but generally coaches kind of want that all to be buttoned up by the time the weekend comes, right?
Yeah, it's always the debate. Those schools that have it on Friday, Saturday, they have advantage because they can look and say, oh, here's who went here, and adjust their lineups. But there's not a lot. It looks like most of them are done Thursday this week. So on the 19th, I think the girls districts 5 and 6 is the only one we have on the Friday, Saturday this time. Everything else is done by Thursday. It looks like all the girls, all the boys, most of them finish up tomorrow. The 18th is most of the boys tournaments, but there's a handful on Thursday as well.
Yeah. And then it's Sunday morning, right? Is when that state seeding meeting takes place.
Yep. And they've got it down pretty slick. Most of the coaches now Zoom in. Years prior, obviously before Zoom technology, people would get together and it was a lot more chaos. But the way they do it now, it's a point system. They use track points. So it takes a lot of the debate out of it. I mean, if coaches put all the information in correct, there's not a lot of things to debate. The most exciting things I think that come out of that are the wild cards. They get awarded, and everybody's kind of, pins and needles till they see it come out and see if their kid got the wild card, pick up a few extra kids. So that's really fun at that state seeding meeting.
Yeah. Can you take us through? Oh, here's Tom Baumgartner. He says boys district 1-2 is going to be on Saturday, which is interesting. So, can you take us through that wild card process? I mean, because it can really make or break, the path to a trophy for some teams.
Yeah, it can. And so, what they do now with this track point system, they've got and I don't have the criteria in front of me, but returning state champion then returning state champion at weight, returning state placer, 1 to 3, 3 to 6 are all different points. Winning percentage, head to head obviously can trump everything. And so what they do is you get a point for each category you have there. If you're a state champion, you get 1. If you're a state play, and so then they total the track points that a person has. And whoever that number 17, and depending, each district has a few different, whether it's 2 wild cards, like I think 3A, there's 2 wild cards, 5A, there's 3 wild cards, I think this year. 6A, there's just 1. Girls, there's just 1. So in 6A and girls, and I think 4A too, it really, you're only one of those girls. And when they total those points up, whoever number 17 is with the most points, that's the person that gets in. And that's where you see, my experience, the most debate is with those wild cards. And it's really important coaches get that information loaded into track, the head-to-head stuff before the seeding meeting.
Yeah. And I know Al is always like, Brandon, when do you think those seedings are going to be out? And I'm like, Al, as soon as I know, you're going to know. Like, you're going to know before I do. But he's always, itching to start doing his state previews based on, okay, who's where and who's got the data and everything. So
I'll have to try to screenshot him for him this time, and we can get him a little extra time.
Yeah, a little sneak peek maybe. Yeah. Okay, here in the chat, Brian, Mark Boothby, he's a big Nampa Christian supporter. 3A District 3 is going to be on Friday. And here's Matt Casey, Boys District 4 3A and 4A is Saturday, the 21st. So there are a couple of Saturdays in there, which is interesting. So,
oh, I didn't scroll down far enough. I see those now.
Yeah.
District 3A, 5, District 4, and 6, Districts 1 and 2 are all Saturday. I missed those.
Yeah. But like you said, it is kind of interesting how you decide to do it. And some coaches just want to get it done and some want to wait. And it makes it interesting on Sunday. That is for sure. So, okay. I'm going to share the boys wrestling photos that I got, and then we will take a quick break and bring Fred on for our girls conversation because he's been patiently waiting. So here are all of the boys wrestling photos and updates I got in terms of career wins, 100, 150, 175. Here is, Brian, if you're going to start a list like this is a pretty good guy to start with. Nate Gugelman II. Look at that record at American Falls, 175 wins. Awesome. 4 losses in his career.
4 losses in 4 years. It's pretty impressive. And, we know he's already committed to Utah Valley, and it's going to be fun to watch him at the next level.
Yeah, and of course, Utah Valley, Coach Hall, an Idaho guy, just continuing to soak up the best Idaho has to offer.
Yeah, which is great to see because for a lot of years, you were asking why isn't Utah Valley recruiting those Idaho kids. So Coach Hall has done a great job, and it's fun to watch. And it's fun if you go down to a duel down there. So many Idaho people will make the trip down there to watch Utah Valley. And, they've got a big one coming up this Saturday with it's not an Idaho kid, but Brock Hardy from Utah that a lot of people around here follow. So it's fun to go down there and watch the Idaho kids. It's going to be fun to watch Gugelman.
Yep, definitely. And then his American Falls teammate also made the cut here, Brian. Titus Dillo, 150 career wins for American Falls as well, which is, again, pretty outstanding. So
pretty impressive.
I had a couple of different people send this one to me. That's on the girls' side. I'll get to that when Fred's on. The Tri-Valley Titans sent me all of theirs. And for a school that's a 1A, they sent me 4, which is pretty good. So here's on the boys' side, Eli Noah, 150 plus career wins. I love how they put the plus on there because I'm sure by the time they got the poster printed, it was already, over 150. So that's great. And then here's Jace Wagner as well, 150 plus wins in his career also.
Super impressive.
Really, really great football player too. Quarterback the Titans this fall all the way to the state championship game. So we love to see that. Here is a gaggle of Madison Bobcats, Brian. Just a whole starting lineup. So from left to right here, you've got Ace Ingram in the back row, Colton Munns in the middle, McGregor Miller is on the right there. And then in the front row, you've got James Hansen on the left and Brandon Edstrom on the right there. So Madison's saying, hey, don't count us out yet, Brian, at that 6A tournament. We got 5 horses ready.
Yeah, I would never count them out. And that's a big deal for them to get Hanson's back for the state tournament. So, it still could be a race, but 755 points for Meridian is just wow.
Yeah, for sure. And you know what's been fun about Madison is you could see this groundwork being laid the past couple of years, and just the hard work that coaching staff has put in and the athletes themselves. And it's been really fun to watch this Madison program just grow and develop and become kind of the team in 6A over in East Idaho.
Yeah.
Which has been great.
Yeah, so Coach Peterson and the staff have just done a great job there. And, it's fun to see them. They're traveling year-round, doing freestyle, Greco, just building, and great job.
Yep. There's one Tri-Valley Titan I forgot as well. So we had Eli Noah. We had Jace Wagner. Also Wyatt Mora, 125 wins for the Titans there. So Wyatt Mora also repping Tri-Valley there on the boys' side there. We have also here, Brian, a couple of Nampa Christian Trojans. No picture for this one, but Cole Hilty got to 100 career wins at the North-South Duels a couple weeks ago in Clearwater Valley, and he's at 157 pounds. Thomas Dean also got to 100 wins just last week. No photo there, but last weekend in Marsing, 2 brothers reached milestones. Tucker Henney and Kaiser Henney, both from Nampa Christian. So here is Tucker Henney right after that victory right there. That was career win number 100, Brian, at 150 pounds. And then here's Kaiser Henney getting his at 150 career wins there. So
very cool.
Yeah, Kaiser Henny, first wrestler in Nampa Christian history to reach 150 wins, Brian. It's pretty impressive.
That is pretty cool. It's going to be fun to watch. And, that 1A, 2A races, those are always fun things that we, they don't get a lot of attention. Maybe that's something we should add to our rankings next year, is who the top 1A, 2A school is, since they award a separate, it'd be fun to add that kind of, because, you got Malad, Kellogg, Ryrie, Tri-Valley obviously gets in the rankings 3A there, but some of those 1A, 2A schools would be fun to put up there who the best 1A, 2A schools are.
Yeah, and Nampa Christian, I think, is a true 3A, so they would have a tough go of it. But so Kaiser Henny, first guy at 150, but the younger Henny, Tucker, is only a sophomore, and he's already at 100 wins. Brian, he's the first sophomore in Nampa Christian history to get 100. So chances are he's probably gonna shoot past Kaiser if it all keeps going well for him. So
we'll be talking about him when he hits 2, right?
That's right. And then keeping that 3A theme going, here is Aiden Potter from Malad, 100 career wins. Jack Willie, 150 career wins. Drake Morrison, 150 career wins. Cam Bingham, 100 career wins. Oakley Maddox, 100 career wins. Ryden Montgomery, 100 career wins. Porter Mills, 100 career wins. That's 7 Malad Dragons at 100 or better, Brian. Any doubt as to why they're the top contender ahead of the 3A tournament next week?
You talk about program building. Coach Morrison has just done an amazing job there, and that's a stacked lineup. It's going to be hard for anybody to take Malad out, but Kellogg, you can never count Kellogg and Ryrie out.
That's right, no doubt. And then I can't remember if we talked about Jeremiah Palmer from Sandpoint or not, but he recently got to 100 career wins as well. So that's a lot of guys doing a lot of good work here. And like Mark Boothby said, Tucker Henny, a sophomore with career win number 100. All right, we're going to take a break. When we come back, girls wrestling discussion. Don't go anywhere. It's the Idaho Mat Chat Prepcast. Back after this on IdahoSports.com.
It's that time again. Time to get the health insurance you need for next year. Open enrollment is the time for you to enroll in, renew, or change your coverage. At Your Health Idaho, you can save money with a tax credit on the plan that's best for you and your family. Don't wait. Open enrollment ends December 15th. More coverage, less cost. Only at yourhealthidaho.org. Enroll by December 15th.
At Valleywide Cooperative, we're here when you need us. For 100 years, we have been here to help you with food, fuel, and good old-fashioned advice. And for us, serving is more than a job, it's a way of life, which is why we pour so much into the communities around us. We've employed hundreds of your neighbors. We take pride in that, and in giving back millions in sponsorships, grants, donations, and scholarships. It's our way of saying thanks. We're Valleywide, and yesterday, today, and tomorrow, we're here for you.
All right, welcome back to the Idaho Mat Chat Prepcast, live on the IdahoSports.com YouTube channel, Facebook page, X account, and Instagram account. Brought to you by Green Solutions, Cleaning and Restoration over in Rexburg. Green Solutions, East Idaho's family-owned expert restoration for water, mold, and fire damage, seamlessly working with your insurance. All right, Brian, it is time for our girls wrestling discussion. Let's bring on our girls wrestling expert down from Southern Idaho in Buell. It is Fred Bartlett. Fred, what's going on? Oh, you're on mute, Fred. Let's see if Fred gets that.
How's that?
Oh, perfect. Much better, Fred. Good to see you.
Yeah, good to see you guys. It feels like it's been a while. So.
Yes, we sadly missed last week's show. Just too much going on with other sports, but we're glad to be here this week. And normally we would have Val Johansson on as well, the girls wrestling coach from Sandpoint. She said, "Hey, it's our district seating meeting tonight. I'll try to make it." And about 10 minutes ago, she texted the group and said, "We're only on 120, so I'm not making it." Got a ways to go, Brian.
Yeah, some of those can go a while.
No doubt. So, Fred, since we last were on the show, we were kind of looking ahead to the first ever girls duels that were going to be held in Kimberly. I think it was a really big success. For those that may not have caught what all happened 2 weeks ago at the first ever girls duel championships, unofficial championships, down there at Kimberly. I mean, I thought it was a really good weekend of competition.
Yeah, it was awesome. There's just something about duels when you're not just wrestling for yourself, but you're wrestling for your teammates and the girls. You could really feel that energy when each duel, like, it was pretty exciting. I was really happy with how it turned out. Like, there were some teams there that showed up to show they're the best teams, and you could really see why, like, Eagle and Thunder Ridge have been good for so long, as they rally around each other and they wrestle for each other. It's not just about them. So it was cool to see.
Yeah.
So, finals came down to, I think, the last match, Eagle and Thunder Ridge. It was exciting. So Thunder Ridge was missing a couple girls, but Eagle looked really good, and they ended up winning 48-36. So that was exciting. So
yeah. So Eagle and Thunder Ridge, the top two teams, certainly and showcased their abilities. Individually, who stood out to you throughout the weekend of competition there at the girls' duels?
Molly Ulagi looked really good. She was hammering everybody. So, and their team, Skyline, really impressed me, actually. I think they ended up 5th overall. They beat Twin, and they didn't fill every weight. So I don't know how many forfeits they were giving up, but they were able to do it with quality and winning the matches that they had girls in. So that was pretty impressive. So,
and how many teams ended up coming to that, Fred?
I think there ended up being 14 teams. I think there were probably 7 or 8 teams there that filled a lineup that was competitive in the dual situation, and then the rest of us were kind of just waiting for Saturday and trying to get some extra matches in on Friday. So it's pretty tough to win a duel if you only have 5 or 6 girls and there's 14 weight classes. But some of those smaller schools were in there just, I think, to get the matchups and the extra matches. So I know some of my girls, they picked up 4 or 5 matches on Friday and 4 matches on Saturday. So it was a good weekend.
Yeah, that's really going to be helpful. And again, none of that is used in terms of state seeding criteria, correct? Just good experience.
Yeah, I mean, the head-to-heads, they'll be used if you beat somebody that's in front of you. It helps. Yeah. It should help your seeding later on. So,
yeah. A couple of residual comments here. Alice Niefenegger says, "Way to go, Malad." We were showing that parade of Malad Dragons and how many 100 career winners they've had. Wyatt Bedke 1260 on YouTube says it's the best the gym at Kimberly High has ever looked. So, yep, for sure.
Great job hosting, for sure.
Yep.
Yeah, Kimberly, they were great hosts. It was the Meridian Minico 3rd and 4th place match was really exciting. Came down to the last match, so Meridian ended up winning that one, 42-36. So that was another good duel. And I mean, so overall it was, and then the individual tournament the second day it was nice to have that too. So there were some girls that came from Chalice, wrestled in Chalice, and then came over and wrestled in the Kimberly individual tournament as well. So
yeah, I thought that was really cool. You don't see that a lot. 2 one-day tournaments, get 2 tournaments in a weekend is pretty amazing. I thought that was cool.
Yeah, I was thinking about the one-day Saturday tournament. That's pretty awesome. Or even it'd be cool if it was a Friday tournament.
Yeah.
Don't get too many weekends off. So as a coach, that'd be nice.
Yeah, it was there was a lot going on in Kimberly over that weekend. That's for sure. So we did also have in terms of girls competitions outside of Kimberly a couple weeks ago. Brian mentioned that Chalice held a girls version of the Durazio tournament there. I'm trying to remember Conrad Garner. I'm trying to remember if they had girls competing up there. Yeah. So it was good to see. What were some of the highlights outside of Kimberly? Things that caught your eye from 2 weeks ago?
So I know what Chalice, the one thing that kind of stood out to me was the Emmett girls did really well there. I'm not sure if they won the tournament, but
I think they were third.
yeah, they look good. So
Yeah.
that really jumped out at me. And then the Conrad Gardner did have some girls wrestling there. Trying to remember. I mean, Val, we're talking about it. There's a couple weights there. Oh, the Sandpoint girl beat Summer. Is it Summer Birch? Summer Birch beat Emma Younger at 120, which that's a pretty big win. So Emma she won Tiger Grizz. She's been kind of running through everybody. So that was a pretty big win for Summer there. So.
Yeah, that was really impressive to see for sure. So, and then last week it was just well, in terms of girls competitions, we had a lot of duels going on the boys side. Was it more of the same there for the girls? A lot of duels.
You know, it's tough to catch the duels. You got to be really paying attention to track. I didn't see a whole lot for on the girls side of stuff. I mean, I'm sure there were some matches, but it was kind of seemed like everybody just kind of waiting for districts. So, and the girls District 3 started today. Same with the boys. So there's some really good matchups there. I think Caldwell's winning right now. So Caldwell's in first, Eagles in second. So Cuna's in third.
Can you talk a little bit about that in terms of how many because it's the all classification format, and so it's each district, it's everybody. Coeur d'Alene is competing with Bonners Ferry up in District 1. Same over in District 3. It's Caldwell competing with the smaller schools. How many bids are guaranteed? I would assume like districts 3, 4 are probably going to get the most because that's where most of the teams are, right? North Idaho, East Idaho probably are going to get fewer overall. Is that right?
So the way it works out for the girls is District 3 gets 5 bids. The North gets 2. District 4 gets 3 bids. And then District 5 and 6 are combined in a regional, and they get 5 bids. So that's kind of how it works out. So
yeah, I was looking through the results, District 3, just to kind of see what was going on, and it's going to be, you know, looking all that's decided right now are the top 2 are the only guaranteed because they haven't, you know, they can tell you who the top 6 are, but you know, looking through the finals matchups that are going to happen, the people that are locked into the top 2, it's really interesting. Like Fred called it earlier in the year. There's not a lot of teams. I think some of the teams maybe have 2 girls in the finals, but it's pretty spread out between all the teams pretty equally. You know, and we yet to be seen what's going to happen with, you know, 3, 4, and 5. But as far as the finals matchups that are already guaranteed a spot at state, it's pretty crazy to see how spread it out is among those, I think 30 teams in that district or something.
Yeah, it's going to be wide open at state as well. There'll be 10 to 15 teams that can compete for a trophy. It should be exciting. Yeah. So there were a couple of big wins today that I noticed already. At 100, the Halpin girl from Bora beat Maritza Medina to make the final. So that was a pretty big win to make the final for Malia Halpin. And then Parsons from Weiser beat Ava Bowie, which is a pretty big win there too. Which Parsons is tough. She's a typical Weiser wrestler. She's tough to score on. She fights hard. So
yeah, it's going to be really interesting to see who survives, who advances, what those state brackets end up looking like. It's going to be knock them down, drag them out. That is for sure. Because you're coaching Fred, obviously coaching Buell, and you've got a number in mind in terms of, okay, if we get this many girls on to state, we're going to have a good chance. What do you think that number is with the all classification format still in use here?
I still think it's probably 5 state placers will put you in the fight there, depending on how many you put in the finals. But I think it's probably going to be 5. Thunder Ridge probably has a couple more horses there, so there's probably still a team to beat, but it's going to be really close. So if you're qualifying more than 8, you're doing really good. So I think there was one team last year that qualified more than 8 girls. So, and we have added a couple weights, so it might be a little bit different, but I think Twin was the only team that qualified more than 8 last year. So that's probably the number, 8 to 10 qualifiers, and you probably need half of them to place.
Yep. So. And it might be a situation where if somebody's going to try and knock a Thunder Ridge or an Eagle off that perch, you might need help from other teams, and it might be a kind of a quasi combined effort, right? Some school's going to pick off a Thunder Ridge girl somewhere, kind of give another team an assist. That kind of makes it a little bit fun too.
Yeah, for sure. I'm curious to see how many teams are up in there. So I think it's going to be 10 to 15 teams. So
makes it exciting.
Yes, for sure. And there's been a lot of talk, of course, on the show and offline about, getting away from the one classification. I think we should do kind of a special segment on that once we get past state and can kind of have a chance to really dissect the numbers. But I know that's been a growing movement as well. And I still think state could be, Fred, you tell me, if there were two classifications or even three, I think state would still be just as exciting. And it doesn't have to be an all school, all classification format to have that excitement and drama. Yeah,
I mean, it's exciting for the boys. The 3A guys, they're state champs, just the same as the 6A guys, and I wouldn't take anything away from a state champ, whether they had 2 divisions or 5 divisions. They put the work in, and it's something to be proud of.
Yeah, totally. So we do have a couple of comments in the chat here. Jason Turnbull says, yes, Conrad Garnerite girls wrestling. Oakley Hornets wrestling. Congrats to Sarah Torabau. She committed to wrestle at Western Colorado University this week. Okay, congratulations. We will have to add her to our list of wrestling commits. Billy and Chelsea Brown say Thunder Ridge got to finish strong, and we will see if they can get it across the finish line here. That is for sure. Al did send an updated list. He's not on the show this week, but he did send an updated list of all of the Idaho wrestlers that have signed to go compete collegiately there. You see still on our list Talia Nichols from Rocky Mountain, the only girl that we know of that's signed. We're going to have to add Sarah Torabau to the list. The one new addition on the boys' side this week, Brian, was Dylan Daviano from Bishop Kelly. He signed with Quincy College over in Illinois. So good for him, too.
Yeah, very cool. Very cool. Just trying to see how he was doing today.
Yeah,
they start tomorrow, I guess. So, yeah.
So,
yeah, but congrats to Torbo. That's Fred. If I'm not mistaken, she just started wrestling a year ago. Is that right?
Yeah, last year was her first year, I think. Her brother was a multiple-time state champ for Oakley, and he's been out there training her. So she has a good workout partner. So.
Yeah, no, I think that's what's amazing about girls wrestling right now are just the opportunities to start second year wrestling and to sign to go wrestle at college is pretty cool.
There's opportunities out there, right, Fred? Because for as fast as high school girls wrestling is growing, college wrestling is growing at a kind of a similar rate, right? They've got to fill these rosters out.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of college teams that are having a tough time filling their rosters or finding coaches. Similar issues that we have at the high school level. Like, there's just not enough girls. Like, they're signing girls up that haven't even wrestled. Just, hey, you're an athlete, come try wrestling. So.
Yeah, just all that potential, right? Yeah, pretty interesting for sure. So it's going to be really exciting to see how everybody does coming down the stretch here through districts and at state. When is the District 4 tournament, Fred?
So our girls will wrestle on Thursday and our boys will wrestle Saturday. So girls is over at Minico High School. So looking forward to that. It'll just be a one-day tournament.
Okay, that'll be a good venue, good fun for sure. So we are looking forward to that. Here is Billy and Chelsea again. The growth has been fun to watch in girls wrestling. Yes, it definitely has. Okay, I wanted to wrap up, Fred. We did get some girls wrestling photos in here in terms of crossing, 100 career wins. So I got this from a couple of different people. Here is Kiera De Leon from Meridian, and she got over. I'm trying to remember if it was 100 or 150. I think it was 100 career wins for Kiera. So Outstanding. And again, this was a couple of different people sent this in. She's got a lot of people in her corner for sure.
Yeah, she's fought through some adversity for sure. She had a knee surgery that she had to battle back from, and a knee injury, and so it's cool to see her accomplish something like that. So just sticking with it.
Have we had girls hit 150? I think we have, but I can't remember.
When I was looking at it, I was asking some of the girls that have just recently graduated, and I think Zoe Freeze was the highest that I had heard of with 154.
Okay.
Kyler Scott's somewhere in there at 150 something. Those are the two highest that I've heard of. So I just started asking the college girls, like half of them didn't even know. Like, how many wins do you have? I had no idea. So,
right.
Going to be more.
Yes.
Yeah.
And we may have to go.
For a long time, it was tough to get matches, so it wasn't something they were really tracking. But I think it's gotten a lot better. I know we filled all of our dates for the first time this year with our girls. Like, filled all of our dates, which that hasn't happened in the past. So it's exciting.
Yep.
Yeah, definitely exciting. So yeah, we'll have to go back retroactively and see if we can figure that out in terms of when it was unofficial and all of that stuff in the Wild West days when it was just getting started. So glad at least it's somewhat sanctioned now. So we definitely like that. So congratulations to Kiera. And then I got a couple of Tri-Valley Titans here as well. Here is Audrey, and she has got 125 career wins. Audrey Winkles here from Tri-Valley. So at 125 on her way to 150, looking pretty good. And then we also had Aubrey Schultz from Malad with 100 career wins also. So congratulations to Audrey and Aubrey. That wasn't confusing when I was loading in my slides earlier tonight, but two great wrestlers also there, Fred.
Yeah. Interesting. Aubrey just signed to play soccer at CSI. So she's come over to our neck of the woods. I'm going to try to get her to coach some wrestling.
Oh, that's a great idea. That would be a lot of fun for sure. And who knows, maybe CSI will go, hey, we want girls wrestling too. So you never know. For sure. Okay. A couple of comments here just to catch up on, and then we'll wrap it up here. Here's Corbin Black. He says, lots of good wrestling at District 3 boys, 6A and girls today. So 6A boys and girls both going at the same time. And already some good early results there. Brock Steele talking about Kiera. She's got Lincoln and I in her corner. Go De Leon. And then here's Callie Smith in the chat. Way to go, Aubrey Schultz there from Malad. And so the numbers are just going to keep going up and up and up in terms of participation, but also wins. So Fred, you tell me as an observer this weekend, what I'm going to be most interested in is not necessarily, who advances and all that, but I want to see what weights these girls are finally committing to, right? That's the big storyline for me.
Yeah, I think we'll see a few shuffle around. But for the most part, I think people have kind of settled into the weights they plan to compete at. So I think there's a couple out there. I'm interested to see where they go.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Not much time left to go, right?
135, 140. I'm interested to see what happens there. So,
yeah,
seems to be a lot of ping ponging between those two weights with a lot of individuals this season. So, Brian, what's the big thing you're looking for this weekend in girls wrestling?
Yeah, I mean, I think just a number, like Fred mentioned earlier, to see who can bring 8 to 10 girls. Because, like I said, looking at the District 3 girls right now, it's just crazy to see the disparity. In District 5, 6 this weekend, they get 5 as well. So, how many can Thunder bring? Can they keep up? Caldwell, they're winning in team points. So you would assume they don't have a lot in the finals, it looks like, but, they're going to have some in the top 5. So I'm excited to just see the breakdown and who brings what. Who's going to be competitive at state.
Yep. Should be a lot of fun. So, big thanks to everybody for joining us tonight. And here we go. Corbin Black says Ava Buey of Centennial is one match away from breaking 100 wins. Okay, Corbin, if that happens, we want the picture of the celebration. We want to add it to our collage for sure. And again, if you know of any college signees, boy or girl, let us know and we'll add it to our list. And Al updates that every week with the latest signings that he's heard about. And so we definitely want you to keep contributing there as well. So in terms of IdahoSports.com, what's on the horizon for wrestling coverage? As Brian said earlier, our final rankings of the season will come out sometime tomorrow. This will be kind of, okay, this is how you can compare. Here's what our rankers said. Does it match what's going to happen at state? Typically, there's always a few surprises in there, so that's always fun to see who outperforms at state. So the final rankings will come out tomorrow at some point, so stay tuned to that on IdahoSports.com. Al Fontes is already working on his written state tournament previews. Those will drop next week. Val Johansson is going to write our girls' state tournament preview this year for IdahoSports.com. So again, her and Al will write the written previews. A lot of good information in there to digest. And then we will do a Matt Chat state tournament preview show next week as well to get you set. And that's where I want Idaho Wrestling Nation here. If you've got specific weights, specific brackets, specific matchups you want us to talk about, we're going to lean on you in the chat. And we will preview everything that's going on at state, because I can't believe it, Fred, but we're almost across the finish line here. Where did the season go?
Yeah, this has been the fastest season I can remember. I don't know. It's gone.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Well, yeah, it's been nuts for sure. So, Brian, we'll sign off the show so you can take that hat off. I'm sure your scalp is just itching with it. Yeah. Yeah, for sure. So thanks for tuning into the Idaho Matt Chat Prepcast, everybody. We should have the full team back next week. But for tonight, thanks to Brian Zollinger for joining us as always, and Fred Bartlett as well to come on and talk girls wrestling. My name is Brandon Maney. Enjoy districts this weekend. We'll see you back here for state tournament preview next week on IdahoSports.com.